Hi there, folks. My name's NovaWing24, and welcome to the first episode of the Three Grumpy Simmers for 2019. So, joining me
Yeah.
once again for another year of grumpiness is, of course, my two other grumpy colleagues. I am joined by Sergio from helisimmer.com.
Hey guys.
And of course, we are joined once again by our purple hat wearing Tomcat aficionado, Mr. Belgiode.
2 more weeks, baby. 2 more weeks.
Yeah, literally. This time literally,
Anytime, baby.
yes.
We're gonna preface with this by saying this has been already been we are continuing on our illustrious continuing skills as not only being the three grumpy simmers but being the three technically challenged simmers. Um, all sorts of technical gremlins have happened to us, including at the moment where we're having to come to us via a mobile cellular device at the moment, thanks to Belgiode above us. So thanks, Drew, for coming in on that one. Um,
Uh-huh.
so it's been a highly entertaining evening already slash morning for some. Anyway, but we want to bring onto this. It's yes. I think we're going to start doing a blooper reel. I think, but anyway. Um,
Which is way bigger than the actual episode, right?
Yeah, you'll probably get better feedback on the blooper reel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so blooper reel, coming soon. TM. Anyway, so we're gonna be talking about something which is ostensibly, it is partially related to our beloved flight simming. But in a way is also related to software in general and the way it's being handled in this day and age. Particularly, I feel particularly in the gaming world, though I'm tending to believe possibly it's also being handled like this outside the gaming world as well. Um, and that's this notion of open betas and the development life cycle, development cycles, and especially early development roadmaps of products. Um, Now, this has come around about for various reasons, and most notably, a couple of most notable things in the recent past, in the fact that we have products like, we've got several Sims and modules and sort of add-ons for Sims that come out and are released in a unfinished state and brought to the market early on, and they're basic, and it gets labeled as early access
Hmm.
when the product is essentially not fit for market. Um, Whether that be because it's still in a very early alpha stage of development, whether it's simply because that it's fairly well along, but there are some major game-breaking bugs in it at that time, and whatever reason it's being brought to market. So we want to talk about how this change in development attitudes over the last, I'm probably going to venture out and say probably the last 20 years. And Sergio, I'm going to defer to your experience here on whether it's been longer than that. Um, Whether these changing attitudes and how they're actually impacting us. Because, I mean, for me, I'm going to look at this, I'm going to start by saying I'm going to look at, straight away, the first one that comes to mind for me is Flight Sim World. Um, Flight Sim World was released to the market as early access, and then they move from early access into a full release. When really was it actually, well,
There
one should
wasn't.
have even have been in early access for a start, and
Mm.
two, was it ready to go to market with its full release when it was?
Yeah, well, you know my opinion, guys. We talked about this. I don't think FSW was to be. I think that the fact that they have released it, that it was the full version, was just a matter of keeping up with an internal schedule, internal timeline, just so that the investors would be happy with the fact that the sim was developing inside a certain schedule, which was probably already uh, very much late down the road, considering what they were expecting the sim to be released with.
Hmm.
The thing is, I see this early access as a good thing and a bad thing. And one of the things that we need to understand or try to understand is why is this early access dash alpha dash beta trend started.
Hmm.
And I think that this trend started because small companies needed to get funding for their game development, and it's not just a Steam thing. It's something that comes from other games. And very especially, I think that the major boom started when Steam went out with the Greenlight program, in which
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
developers could
Yeah.
have the ability to get their games on the market basically, and start doing some pre-releases of the software. And
So,
this
so
is basic.
is it basically a money grab? Is early access and beta just
Crowdfunding.
purely a money grab?
This is crowdfunding with a different name. It's just like you using crowdfunding platforms like GoFundMe and Kickstarter and whatnot, but instead of using those platforms, you are selling people a way for them to have early access to a game that's not finished and get some money from people. I don't see this as a. I wouldn't say it's a money grabbing thing on not
Hmm.
on a bad way, not in a bad way where they're just trying to grab money. They're trying to fund games in a way that they would probably not be able to fund, because let's face it,
But but we're,
investors are not.
but we're not talking about indie developers anymore here. Like we're talking about AAA titles here. Like we're talking about EA and Anthem. Now, and this was what really bugged me. So EA and the Anthem release. So EA offered.
We're talking about two different things. We're talking about two different
But
because
no, we're
we're
still
talking about.
offering. We're offering
I'm
early access and beta, and we're going.
Yeah, I
Right.
know, I know. Yeah, I know what you're saying,
Hmm,
and what I'm saying that it's not a bad thing, and it's a source. It's a way of companies to crowdfund their projects. I'm talking about how it started. The thing
Mm.
is
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
where
Fair
they
enough.
headed to. Okay, this started as a way for companies, independent indie companies, to fund their games, because they had no access to investors, or investors would not be interested on their games. And so, with this crowdfunding thing, with this early access, they were able to actually release their games. And there are some good games out there that were crowdfunding or funded through early access.
Hmm.
But then you have the big companies that, and now you can use the money grabbing expression because that's
Yeah.
exactly how I feel.
Well,
You
they've
know,
learned from the indies that have been doing it all
exactly
this
because
time.
we can have a cushion because we already have the critical mass. We already have thousand guys following us
Hmm.
and following our games, and we can start making money earlier than we would if we were going to start selling the game 1 or 2 years from now. And that is the bad part of the thing, and that's
Hmm.
where things started to derail, in my opinion. It's not just a way of small companies to get funded, but big companies, it's a way for big companies to actually grab money and show the investors that the game. I think that a lot of the times they're just trying to show the investors that the game is valid and that the community is interested, so that they don't just grab the money from the people that is purchasing early access, but they are going to grab more money from the investors. I would be surprised if some of the investors would make early access some of a clause in the contract in
Hmm.
which we are going okay, we're willing to spend 100 millions on this game. We're
Hmm.
going to give you 50 million, but if by this time you get into early access and you get, like, I don't know, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 purchases of your early access, we're going to release the rest of the money. Now, this started this early access thing, in my opinion, stopped just being a way for small developers to get money to fund their
Hmm.
programs, but started acting as a barometer for investors to know if they should keep investing on the certain
And
title
and
or just stop it.
Mm.
And to me, that seems to be a horribly dangerous way of doing it, because you end up, when you have a
It
situation
is.
where you have, titles stuck in permanent beta, or, permanent states of early access, or quite frankly, you've got titles that are just completely abandoned in early access. You really sour this taste of what early access means. And then you've got other things, and again, sort of moving on with that AAA one, is sort of like it was the Anthem release going, yep, we're releasing it early so we can get feedback and whatever. Oh, but sorry, not Anthem. Fallout 76. Fallout 76. Fallout 76. Yeah, we're going to open this as a open beta to everyone who pre-orders, so you can give us feedback and help us find the bugs and help us improve and finish the product. Which on the surface sounds great, except they have a hard release date.
Yeah. Yeah. And that can
If you're in beta and development, you don't have a hard release date. Hence, 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the thing. And I think this is destroying the community. This is destroying the industry. And you have a huge example. Look, let's go back to FSX, okay? In which we had someone that was very passionate about aviation, Bill Gates, in front of Microsoft, and we had the AC Studio, and yes, we had someone putting the money for AC Studio to release a product, and back then there was a beta version, but it was an internal beta version. People who had access to this. It wasn't an early release, it was an actual, was the beta team. I was part of the beta team for FSX, and we would get the software and download the software and use the software to actually test the software and provide the team with feedback, and then they would release a full-blown product. What has happened to FSW? FSW could be a tremendous product, and it was destroyed by the community. It was destroyed by the investors. It was destroyed by the industry itself in this ecosystem of company and developers, and it was just ripped apart. It was not given a fighting chance because all of a sudden someone saw the numbers of early access and said it's not going to work. Okay, and we're talking about a product which people were already biased about. The versions that were coming out were
and that bias came down to certain members of the community that shall remain nameless. Randazio!
But the thing is, Tristan, it doesn't matter. Because the thing is, we were provided with a copy of a product that was very much freaking finished. So people start complaining about an unfinished product. And then Dovetail Games did something even stupid, I'm sorry, but it is, which is what was called the final version or the stable of a game when clearly it wasn't finished.
I still can't believe they did that. Anyway. Yeah.
The thing is, many years ago, 20 years ago or plus, companies were risking, investors were actually risking their money to fund a game so that developers would finish the game with the help of an internal beta team, release the finished game, polished game, all sorted out, all ready for shipment, with all the known bugs ironed out, and then the community would receive the finished game and the numbers would talk by themselves. By providing people with an unfinished software, when you already have some bias behind it, no matter who those persons, who the bias, it doesn't matter, but there was already some drag, some weight around the product, and you release something that it's not finished to the crowds, and you will just decide what is going to happen, because Dovetail said this. They just decided to quit on developing FSW because the numbers of the pre-sales were not up to what they expected to be. So they destroyed the product even before it was finished because some numbers for pre-sales for a freaking alpha version were not up to what they expected it to be. Come on, guys.
Was it even an alpha, though? I mean, seriously. Was it was missing a lot of features.
That's the thing. It's a pre-alpha because an alpha. I'm sorry, Tristan. An alpha is when you close the features, even if they have bugs. Close the features. There were a lot of freaking backing product, guys. It was even an alpha. When things got out of the development team for FSX, it was in a beta version. all the features were in, there were bugs, and we're just helping ironing the bugs and reporting the bugs and helping fixing the
Yeah,
product.
which is
And then you,
what a beta should be.
Right.
yeah,
as you said, it's right. It's
thing.
a closed feature list. So,
And I'm okay with open betas, mind you. I'm okay with open beta. Sometimes it's easier to have an internal beta with a small group of people ironing the big bugs, and then you just open it to other people, for them to try on their AMDs and on their Intels and their Vives and on their Rifts and whatever software it's out there, in other words, out there. And and you can pinpoint some problems which are specific to a certain combination of software and hardware and fix those things. I'm okay with an open beta, but I think the open beta should not be something that you should pay for. It should be
Yeah.
something that should be you can release it to the public with an ending date, and you can say, okay, this is an open beta, and in 3 months this is just going to stop working, and after that we may have another open beta to fix some other stuff, or we are just releasing the final product. But I'm not okay with you paying to test product, and I'm not okay with people having access to software that's not finished.
And that's what I'm sort of leading into, because we're talking about here, and I'm going to call it what it is, which is DCS is incredibly notorious for this, and I have incredibly serious issues with several of the developers in that platform. With basically going, leaving something and just Razbam straight up. It's like the way they treated the FSX and the FS9 community. And the prepared community when they're with their ignominious exit from the ESP platform, and then they've moved over onto onto DCS, and good luck to them, go guys. But then you're asking for money for, and again, and it goes back to Sergio, what you were just saying. You're demanding a full price tag, not like a $5 here. You're asking for what was the Mirage when it first came out? What was it, $60?
I don't even remember. That's not one of the modules that I have.
But
I have the Harrier though.
It's always around. Yeah, but it's always
around. It's the wrong attitude. It's wrong.
Yeah.
You're paying a fully completed module price for something that, from everyone who's flying it, that talks to me, it says that it's still not fixed. It's better than it was when it was first released, but you pay for, again, as you said, Sergio, you're paying for an alpha, and I'm reading the DCS update list as part of the news wrap every week, and going, says this feature of the Hornet or this feature of the F-86 and stuff like this still needs to be put in. I'm like, how are you selling this product? And it's like, oh, well, it's early access. It's a beta product. It's early access. I'm like, I'm paying for something that's not finished, that all the features you're telling me, as you said, Sergio, rightly, it goes to beta when the feature list is finished.
They've literally gotten away with it. They've made us all paying guinea pigs. That's really what it boils down to.
And this is my thing.
And of course, everybody's going to do it because they realize DCS also has the quality when it comes to the product. So, I mean, it's actually worth a $70, $80 price. But here's the thing, though. I don't think that the average person who buys into the early access even gets the part of the whole experience where you've got to report whatever bugs you find. They're looking at it as like, here's a free preview, but it's not really free. You got to pay for it.
It's like, why is this not working? It's like, well, start reporting the bugs. But so is this an issue?
Natural. It's just normal. This is just normal for people. It's not working.
Exactly.
Oh, it's early access. Just like, and most of these guys are not helping develop. You have a cat behind you, and I think he's going to attack someone, Tristan.
Well, three grumpy simmers and one confused cat.
But the thing is,
so have we, as a gaming community, been misled? Like, have we accepted something, a new status quo, a new status normal? Because like you, Sergio, I remember the day, like I remember beta testing a little revolutionary title called Dark Reign, many years ago. And that was the thing, is that it was mailed to me on a CD. It was, it was sent out in the post. You installed it, you played it, you found the bugs, you wrote them down, and you sent them off. On
And if
little
you
postcard.
if you didn't, or if you didn't interact with the team, from
you
the
were
beta
booted
team.
from the team.
And you removed not only from that beta of that product, you were removed from the beta list of everybody.
Yeah, so you would actually help develop the product.
Yeah, and that was the thing, is and it was fully featured, but it had a time lock on it. So once it hit a certain date, like 70 months or whatever, it would stop working. So I contributed to Dark Reign actually working, so that was great. But I never paid for that. That was a volunteer role. I volunteered my time, so I made the commitment of going. That's fine. So are we?
You were actually paying. You were actually paying for it because you were giving your time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm paying for it because I'm doing time.
Financially, you didn't pay for it.
But it's different. Yeah, but it's completely different, right? You were helping develop a product.
And I was happy to give that to the community because I was wanting to help out. But the thing is that are we getting, as again, it goes back to my question just then, is like, are we as a community getting a bit confused? And if we lost sight of, as you rightly said, Drew, what is a beta? Like, are we supposed to, people are supposed to feed back in the data, and are we allowing ourselves to be exploited? And how do we change those attitudes? Should we change those attitudes? That's the other question, is this now the new, should this be the new thing? Are we okay with paying money to take on the role of a QA tester?
Yes.
And that's the weird thing about it, because there are definitely pros and cons. I mean, obviously, if you're buying into a product as a consumer, you want to have the best possible product. Really, that's not going to happen unless you have like a level of faith and trust in developers themselves. Like, if Eagle Dynamics weren't the people that Eagle Dynamics are, they've already proven themselves to me, at least, as a commodity with the modules that have come out in the past that have left beta. And believe it or not, occasionally they do leave beta.
I'm sorry, what? They leave beta?
State.
What?
Yeah.
What?
It happens from time to time. But yeah, a company like that, since that's known to be their modus operandi, but they stand behind their product, they have very stringent measures and so on and so forth. For me, it's a little bit easier a pill to swallow. But conversely, you also have something like Star Citizen, which from the ground up, from day one, they said, you're paying for this. You're paying for this. If you want to buy into this game, here, you buy a spaceship.
What was it, $3,000 for a spaceship in a computer game?
And guess what? They still have not gotten that spaceship yet. That one still has not even gone to the gray boxing phase, which if you know anything about like development, that's like way before the pre-alpha. The features haven't even been locked in. We're just
it hasn't even hit the design review board yet.
Exactly. And there's still people paying money hand over fist. I get like the daily emails or whatever, or the weekly emails from Cloud Imperium.
Sorry. Let me just go contact my stockbroker and buy shares in whatever that guy's company is. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Cool story.
But that's just the thing, though. They're still incrementally coming out with stuff. They haven't given like a time frame as to when a finished product is coming in. Anyone who's currently using something like Star Citizen knows they're on alpha. You can see the proof in the pudding. It's just taking so damn long for them to get to a point where, honestly, you have a sim like Elite Dangerous, and I have to refer to Elite Dangerous as a sim, even though it's a space thing.
It is a space.
It's just that in depth.
It
is just that in depth, and it's more polished.
And can I just say,
it feels like a complete thing.
That it is a complete sim. It is a complete game, a complete sim, and it has a separate beta branch that is an invite only. And no purchase was. I think a purchase was required originally, or actually, maybe not. I'm not sure. But I have a friend of mine who's one of their official beta testers, and he has a separate beta branch, and they roll an update out to them. And it's sort of like, but you get Sergio, it reminds me back of what you were saying at the start of this episode, where we're talking about when titles used to come out, when software came out, you got a complete polished package, and then you would get a complete polished patch, or get a complete polished expansion down the track. and I look at ED and go, I've got an MMO. I've got an MMO's space combat sim or space transportation sim, whatever you want, without the monthly fee. And yet
Yeah.
I look at, what is it, Robert's Space Industries, and I go, you're
Mm-hmm.
making money hand over fist, and you've delivered
You haven't shown
nothing.
much. And I mean,
You
don't get me
mentioned
wrong.
something.
They are making a lot of great strides as far as pushing the technology forward for gaming, for
Yeah,
simulation, so on and so forth. But
yeah.
that's just the thing. The entire time that I've been, I guess, bought into Star Citizen, it has felt more like a tech demo than an actual game that they're working on.
So should
They
we?
seem to be more worried about pursuing new technologies. That's for sure. Yeah.
So should we be, as a community, should we stop using the term early access? Should we be getting developers to
Yeah.
use a new term? Should we get them to go back to being honest and saying,
Mm-hmm.
this is a beta, you're paying for an alpha, or you're paying for a beta, or you're paying for a tech
Mm-hmm.
demo? Should we as a community start be pushing to say, stop treating us like idiots and cash cows? Should we be doing that?
that's not going to happen. That's not going to
But no,
happen.
but
I don't know.
whether
DCS still hasn't given me cows yet.
Look,
the Calmugeddon has not upon us yet. Sorry, what?
we're in this
riot.
position. We are in this position. We are in this position because we put ourselves in this position.
Exactly.
The
What's
thing
the old
is,
saying that my grandmother used to say? A fool and his money are soon parted.
Yes.
Hello. We do this every day in the gaming community.
if we didn't grab our credit card, actually paid for this stuff, it happened. But it happened because we allowed it to. Not things. I don't think things are going to change, especially because people want to have the latest thing. Isn't you see it all over? You see it all over social networking, and you see people screaming and kicking because they want to. Just I can even just look at explain. Okay, explain 11.31. 32 is.
Oh, this was hilarious.
And people are already asking for, when is Explain 11.50 coming out?
What are you talking about? They're asking for Explain 12 now.
Yeah, some guys are asking about. I've literally seen the guy, just listing the specs of a computer and saying, "Will this work on the future version of Explain 12?" And we go like,
I'm not. Is my name Nostradamus? No.
Yeah. But you mentioned something.
It's not just Explain. They're doing that with P3D too. I actually had a guy ask me when P3D5 was coming out.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, and that's the thing. People want new thing, the novelty. Whenever you watch it and it's a trend, something is coming. Like let's say something like Explain 11.32 is coming, and people is, oh my god, I want it so bad, and then 11.32 comes up, and they are immediately asking, what's coming for 11.33? You were asking for 32, you needed 32, you were eager for 32, 32 is here, and you're already asking for, and that's what people want, and people are clearly willing to pay for it. Now, you mentioned something very interesting a few minutes ago, Tristan, and it was a point that I wanted to add to this discussion, which is, you said that you were going to talk to a stockbroker and buy some shares of whatever that company was, right? Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Imagine that, Drew has a software company and is developing, some cool, very, dark.
A tech demo, yes.
Yeah, he actually wants to do some.
A simulator with nothing but tomcats.
Well,
I can do this.
Now, and he has this option. He can go talk to you, Tristan, and tell you, buddy, I have this idea here, and I need money to do this. And you are this filthy rich guy, which you're not. I know. I'm sorry. I'm just, just an example.
I wish.
Just an example.
So wish.
No, you're not.
If I was rich, then I'd be joining y'all in at Flight Sim Expo. Just saying. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you were rich, you'd have 3 cats. True. But the thing is, come to you and say, okay, Tristan, I have this idea. I need, I don't know, $100,000 to do this, and you'd say, okay, Drew, I'm going to give you the money, and I'll give you money for 30% of the company, and then we just split the profits and whatever.
Yep.
And then Drew goes, why don't I just release an early access version? People buy the early
A
access,
proof in concept.
I don't own shit to anyone because no one will own the company but me. I'll be the owner of 100% of the company with the money that everybody else is going to give me for the access version. I'm going to invest that money, develop the product, still be the 100% owner of the company, owe nothing to anyone, and I don't need to give Tristan my 30% of the company. See what I'm getting at?
And I suppose it goes back to what you were saying about the whole thing that it was how it started as a way to be able to give indie developers and the smaller development houses a chance to be able to get access to a cash flow to be able to deliver a polished product. And I get that, which is a good thing. But as I said, it's the way the term's been used and how it's been evolved. It's been abused.
Yeah, it is. It's been abused and it's been distorted.
And unfortunately, as long as there are the Eagle Dynamics of the world, or even the Steams of the world, that's always going to be a thing. Basically, over the years, we've made it the norm by buying into this. Every time we give these people money, we're validating that business strategy. So it's basically we're stuck in it now, unless someone comes up with something else, new and revolutionary. This is pretty much the status.
Okay.
This is
Elon Musk.
Right
if you're watching, you need to be able to throw money at some developers to make us a new flight sim. Just saying. Elon,
you need to throw some money at like Oculus and HTC so that they can start optimizing for us flight sims, because that is still.
Yeah. Elon Musk could be in terms of flight simulation, Elon Musk could be the next Bill Gates. And speaking of Bill Gates, I would love to be able to talk to Bill Gates and beg him to just start. I know he's very passionate about flight simulation. I just wish, I know he's a busy man, and I just wish he had the time to go back to this passion of his, and just throw money.
Throw money.
Just throw money at a studio that would actually do this properly from the ground up, with everything we know a sim should have, with all the abilities for people to be able to mod it, to create a full-blown ecosystem, because, Bill Gates has the money, he has the passion. I would love to see him do this. Or, as you said, Tristan, Elon Musk.
So
space sim.
So Bill, Elon, if y'all are watching, my email address is on the channel. Happy
to video description below.
The three of us will be happy to be your advisors, help you out.
Yes, we'd be more than happy to assist you. Just let us know, and we'll be here. And look, I'll do the helicopter stuff.
I think that's and I think to round this out, I think that's actually a really good way of going through it, is the fact that at the end of the day, there's a few old adages I'm going to close this off with, and one is the behavior you walk by, or the behavior you don't acknowledge or you don't complain about, is the behavior you accept, is the standard you accept, and that's what we've done as a gaming community, not simmers specifically, but as a gaming and as a software development community. It was a software user base. We've accepted this as the norm, and on the surface, it seems like a good idea. As you said, Sergio, it started off with the noblest of intentions, but we've allowed it to be morphed into something which is now starting to hurt us, starting to hurt us as the end user, by having that we end up with products that never leave beta, products that get into that are being sold off as as a beta or as a release product when it would barely qualify for a pre-alpha. So there's a lot of issues with it, and at the end of the day, the other adage that we all know is that if you throw enough time and money at something, it will succeed. And again, a way potentially to raise some of that capital is, of course, doing this. So, but yeah, I think it was a good chance to be able to discuss that, because there's been various things and happening over the community over the last few years, and the other thing to remember
I want to ask something to Drew. I want to ask something.
Yeah.
I know you cannot talk about it. I know you cannot talk about it. Okay, you cannot talk about it. I know that, but I wanted to ask something. Yeah, it's just a very simple. I don't get into any.
Is it a
I
yes no
want.
question? Because I can answer a yes no
It is.
question.
It
He can
is.
neither
It is.
confirm nor
It is. It
deny.
is. It is.
Yeah.
No, it is. Look, we've been talking about this early access thing and how bad or good it is. But
Hmm.
I think there are good examples. And although I don't believe it's 100% directly influenced by the early access sales, but we have good examples in the community. And I know the rest, the Hitler guys today for some time, and the hard work they've been putting into the Tomcat.
Hmm.
The thing is, we have amazingly awesome, good examples, and the Tomcat is going to be March the 13th. It's an official date, so it's not
Yep.
something that an official date. My question is, Drew,
Hmm.
as an early access product, is it good? Yes or no? You
Yes.
just
And that's not just speaking from bias. I can neither confirm nor deny it, but yes, it is a very good product.
that's that is a good example of how early access could be
Right.
because
done.
because you're
That's
getting
what happens when you do it right.
because you're
Yes, that
getting
is definitely.
you're getting a product that when you receive it as an early access product, you are getting the beta. You are getting a feature
Hmm.
complete
Yeah.
product that's there that had some of the bugs ironed out, but there are still ones present, and you need the wider community to help out find out the rest.
and
And
and that is the
especially
thing.
with Heat Blur in particular, they've been very transparent with what their plans were. They have told us from day one, aside from, when their release window was, they've always said like the end of winter. They've also said, when you get the Tomcat, you will get this model, you will get this, you will get this, and you will get this. And you can pretty much checklist all of the items. They're on point. You're going to get what you said they were going to get.
Hmm.
Now, everything
And
that
that
comes
is
after is all the wish list items that, they wanted to do, but they couldn't do, but were not critical
Hmm.
for the release of the product. So they've actually done it right, in my opinion.
And that's and
there's the
that's
thing.
reassuring to hear that we've got, as I said, and this is the
And I
thing.
know, from what I've seen, the early access beginning, they were very advanced already. So they did not rely solely on the money of people that were purchasing into early access.
Mm.
They did it right. They
Mm.
did the pre-release or the early access release when they were pretty much sure that they were 100% able to fulfill the
Mm-hmm.
promises they were making to the community. And this is the most important. I'm okay with companies doing this
Mm.
if they fulfill the promises and if they do it the right way. And I think
Right.
Hitler is a great example. And I didn't have access. I don't have access. Um, I don't, but I've seen the videos and I've seen what's behind the development project.
Mm.
And I think that Hitler is doing it how it should be done. That is the thing, and they are one of the examples.
Right.
All the other
They're going to be
developers to
setting
follow.
the bar, basically. They
Yeah,
are definitely setting the bar for all present and future Eagle Dynamics third party developers.
Mm.
A lot of people
there
are
you
going to
go.
be paying attention to what's going on with the production of the Tomcat. You had a clear indicator as to what was happening from the Vigan because you saw how that came out. There wasn't much that they really needed to fix after it was released, and it was only stuff that had been nagging that they were trying to sort out.
Mm.
But I mean, especially with stuff like the Tomcat coming out, yeah, we're getting a full product. If you bought into the Tomcat, the only thing I could say is just have a little bit of patience. March 13th is not that far away, and hopefully this video will go up like shortly before then. But yeah,
You heard it here first,
trust
folks. You
and
heard it here
believe.
first. You heard it here first. Um,
Trust and believe it will be worth it.
so, as I said, to wrap up, folks, I mean, that's a good way of doing it, but I think it's important that we as a community look for these examples of where early access is done right, and we start remembering that a couple of things about early access is that, one, you're buying into a product that is not finished.
Right.
And if you actually want to be part of that if you buy into an early access product, you need to remember that you are buying an unfinished product. So if the product either doesn't progress or doesn't improve the way you want or doesn't work the way you expect, then that was your lot, as it were, as buying in an early access product. If you want the product but you want to wait till it's stable and ready to release, then you wait.
Which is perfectly fine.
And that's perfectly fine way to do it, but you wait.
But just remember, when you buy into a beta, you're not just considered a customer.
You're a tester.
You are now part of the testing team.
Yeah.
So there are certain requirements of you. If you're looking into getting it because, hey, you want to be able to see it before anybody else, that's all fine and well, but contribute something to the community to help everybody else that's decided to wait, because you decided you did not want to wait. And so that's the part that I think people tend to forget.
Exactly. So be proactive, be part of that, and be part of the community that you've been able to draw on so much. Give back a little bit. So, with those fine words of wisdom, that is going to round out our first episode of 2019. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for your patience as we were on our Christmas break. And I do want to say thank you very much to my two fellow grumpies for this episode, as always. Thank you very much to Mr. Sergio from helisimmer.com.
Bye, guys.
And thank you very much to our resident Tomcat expert, Mr. Belgio. Thanks, Drew.
Yeah, Captain. Ciao.
All right, folks, don't forget to check out helisimmer.com's website and their YouTube channel for all your helicopter and simulation commentary and needs. And don't forget to check out Drew's channel for all your Tomcattery episodes, as well as various other explorations through various simulation worlds. And, of course, don't forget, folks, my name's been NovaWing24. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to enjoy these episodes and more. Thank you very much for joining us. Take care. Safe skies to all. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now.